Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into your sources, your ideas, and pull out the key insights. Today, we're looking at something you brought up, smart locker tool rentals. So, picture this. You need, say, a ladder, maybe a power drill, just for the day. Buying it feels like overkill, right? Storage is a pain.
Yeah.
And normal rental places, they can be expensive or just not convenient. Now, what if you could just walk up to a smart locker nearby? Self-service, totally secure, available anytime. Grab the tool, use it, bring it back. That's the idea we're diving into. And it's not just some far-off concept. You mentioned seeing this already in London, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. London, some public libraries are trying it out too. It's starting to gain traction.
And there was that Reddit post you found about someone building these super apps with digital lockers.
That's right.
They describe them as electronically controlled, mostly waterproof and tamper-proof. But the really wild part was needing no electricity or Wi-Fi. How does that work if they're electronically controlled?
Well, it's pretty clever. Think less about constant power, more about smart triggers. It could be mechanical locks activated by, say, a secure QR code from your phone, or maybe NFC. They often have tiny, long-life batteries just for sensors, maybe reporting back status over low-power networks, or access could even be pre-programmed. So yeah, they don't need to be plugged into the wall or have a constant Wi-Fi signal. That's why they can, work anywhere. Makes deployment way easier.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's unpack this. Why is this seemingly simple thing potentially a business goldmine? You flagged low overhead. What else makes this model stand out?
Well, a huge factor, maybe the biggest, is asset utilization. Think about it. Your average power tool, it sits idle maybe 90% of the time, maybe more.
90%? Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking when you think about it. So making them shareable like this, you turn that idle time into income. Once you've got the lockers and tools, the initial hardware costs, the running costs per rental are pretty low. It's this interesting mix of a physical thing with digital sort of efficiency.
And scalability. How does that compare to like a traditional tool hire shop? Seems easier to grow.
Much easier, potentially. You can start fairly small, one neighborhood, maybe a few key locations. Then you expand, build out a network, a bit like those bike share systems,
Right.
the network effect.
Exactly. And convenience is king here. People can just walk up, scan something on their phone, the locker pops open, they take the tool, use it, bring it back later. No storefront, no staff interaction needed for the basic rental. It's very slick.
That 90% idle time figure is really sticking with me. That's a lot of inefficiency. So beyond just renting the tool itself, are there other ways to make money here? Upselling, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. That's where it gets really interesting. You could sell consumables right there at the locker. Drill bits, safety glasses, sandpaper, whatever makes sense for the tools inside.
Smart. Grab and go.
Exactly. Or think about subscription models. Frequent users, maybe local handymen or small builders, could pay a monthly fee for access, perhaps at a better rate.
You could integrate maintenance scheduling through the app. Maybe even partner with local builders for dedicated lockers on their sites. Dynamic pricing based on demand. Lots of possibilities.
Let's make this more concrete. You had an anecdote in your notes about Joe, a handyman in Dar es Salaam. How does this change things for someone like him?
Right, Joe. So instead of having to shell out a huge amount of cash to buy every single tool he might possibly need, which is a massive barrier for many small operators, especially in developing economies, he could just subscribe to a local locker network, needs a specific software job, he reserves it, picks it up, does the work, returns it. It drastically cuts his upfront costs and makes his business way more flexible. He only pays for what he actually uses when he uses it.
And looking beyond just Joe, the real power isn't just one rental, is it? It's the scale.
Precisely. You take that single convenient transaction for Joe and you multiply it. Hundreds of users, maybe thousands across a city network. Each rental might be small, but added together, it builds into a really steady, recurring revenue stream. That's the fascinating part.
Okay, it sounds great, but they have to be challenges. What about keeping the tools working? Safety checks and theft, or people just breaking things?
Those are definitely the key questions. Theft is always a concern, but tech helps. Many systems have GPS tracking built in, tamper alarms, Plus, you usually need an account tied to a payment method, which deters casual theft. Partnerships with local security or police can also help.
And maintenance, making sure the drill actually drills.
Yeah, that's crucial for user trust. It's not just a vague, it's solvable thing. We're seeing smart approaches. Some companies are partnering with existing local repair shops. The app might flag a tool needing service after a certain number of uses, and a local technician handles it. It outsources that headache. The logistics, the workflow design, it's getting figured out, often through these kinds of partnerships.
Right, using the existing ecosystem. That's smart. Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, this smart locker tool rental idea, it feels like one of those slightly quirky, maybe under-the-radar business models that actually ticks a lot of important boxes. It solves a real local need accessing tools affordably and conveniently. It's scalable, uses tech smartly, and it has that passive income potential once it's set up. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else is just sitting around unused most of the time? So here's a thought to leave you with. What about trying this yourself? A small pilot program? You could become like the landlord of drills and saws using this kind of dockless smart locker model. Maybe start with basic hand tools, keep the initial investment lower, then expand if it works. Could be a really interesting venture if you're looking for, fresh entrepreneurial ground. Definitely something to think about.